Welcome to YellBro. I am Jordan, and today we're going to react to, I think, the newest interview of Whitney Webb with all the events that happened today. She'll be talking about Prince Andrew, I believe, and Les Wexner, who was had a deposition, I believe. I think it was yesterday, but we got the footage today, I think. That's going to be interesting. Before I get started, do not forget to...
I seen her in the...
Good.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I forgot we were recording.
Go ahead.
Oh, I seen her in this thumbnail, and I was like, oh, is she fucking getting interviewed? And then I scrolled through it, and I didn't see her, and then I was like, oh, fuck, redacted, clickbait motherfuckers.
No, she's here.
They are like the biggest clickbaiters, though.
Yeah, but she's there. I checked.
Every other week, the world's gonna be fucking ending when you watch their shit. Again, I'm sorry for interrupting, but...
Whatever. Before I get started, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. All opinions are welcome. And obviously, everything I show you will be linked in that same description box, including stuff like this from Sippy Cup Nick. Here we go.
Women are made to be fucked, literally. That is what it is. Act potent. We are act, they are potential. They have eggs, we have sperm. Sexual act actualizes the potential, makes a baby. That is what they are made for. That they're made to be bred. They're made to have kids with. Okay, they exist for sex. Women exist for sex. That is why they are mothers, or they are whores, or they are nuns. End of list. Women are either mothers, whores, or nuns. No other options. There are no female philosophers. There are no female inventors. There are no female generals or billionaires. They are mothers, whores, nuns. End of list. That's what you can be. Women are made.
What a loser.
So it's like this idea.
He broke his own brain right there.
Here's what I think. Listen.
Never a daughter.
There's something dangerous that happens.
Never a friend.
When someone is like there's a difference between like being like closeted homosexual, and there's something where you're aggressively trying to pretend to be straight, to where bad things happen as a result. And Nicky gives me rapey vibes, bro. He gives rapey vibes when he talks about this shit. And I know he's playing a character for the most part, right? Like he wouldn't say this to his mom in front of his mom, or he wouldn't say it in front of a woman in real life, I don't think. Other than like, you know, content creation, right? Not like lady at the grocery store, right? He's not going to say that. She'd call her husband. He'd beat the shit out of this guy, this little guy. Or maybe she might do it herself. Like he's a little person, let's be honest. But it's like, it's overly aggressively trying to be straight is such a dangerous phenomenon to me. I think psychologically, even if you're just doing a persona, right? I think it's still dangerous because it'll play on your psyche. And Sippy Cup Nick here is, it's like there's like regular gay people, right? And there's like quiet, like they're gay, but they're quiet about it. They don't say anything to anyone. They're just living their lives, right? And there's like, okay, people are maybe too nervous to say what type of sexuality they're into, so they keep it quiet, called closeted, right? And then you have the ones that are trying so hard to look like a straight person. That there's your George W. Bush in the midst of your organization right there. Someone that lies to themselves. Also, I'm just making fun of Nicky Boy. He might not be gay. He might just be a twerp and a dweeb. I'm just saying.
Wait, he broke his own logic right there. Women reproduction.
You're gonna bring up the nuns,
wives.
Right? Hold on. The nuns? You're gonna say, oh, that contradicts what you're saying.
Well,
are you gonna say the nuns?
Yeah, it's the nuns thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the nuns because, well, you just broke your own logic right there with saying their purpose is reproduction or having kids. Well, a nun can't have kids in the idea of what I think he's proposing.
I think that's what he's saying, though. He's saying whores don't have kids, nuns don't have kids, or mother, or your
whores have kids. Whores have kids.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so maybe he wasn't saying that, meaning that. I still think he's meaning that, but.
Oh, he's saying too. He's playing a character, and he knows.
There ain't no such thing as horse.
Like, there's no female philosophers. There's no, like, of course there are. Right? The person they called the next Einstein is a fucking woman. Let's just move on. Like, holy shit.
Hold on, I got my fucking Bible scholar fucking Dubster here. Dubster, you know the fucking woman in the well story? Isn't that about a prostitute?
I don't even know what that
She
is.
is not a prostitute. She is not a prostitute. What she is she's a woman that has had 5 husbands, to where she is considered in their day and age equivocally a
floozy.
prostitute. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's equivocally a prostitute in the old ways of thinking. But
in
in
that
our modern
story,
day,
does
that's not
Jesus
what we think
fucking-
of as a whore.
Does Jesus not
Or
fucking
prostitute.
treat her with respect in that fucking story?
What he does is say she was sinning and go to your last, like the actual statement is like, go to your last husband and tell him that I will be faithful to you from now on, and like that's part of the forgiveness idea, and spread the word
That sounds
about
like bad
me
advice.
coming to your town.
Sounds like bad advice. I'll have to talk to him about it.
Yeah, he fucking
That's bad
just
advice.
stirs up more shit. I don't know, but my point is that like there's fucking plenty of things in the Bible about whatever prostitutes and floozy women or whatever that Jesus is very kind to, and isn't like fucking being like, you know,
Well, the story
you're not
of
a mother.
the story of who we think is Mary Magdalene is how he met her, and they were about to stone her for adultery, aka what they call prostitution, like in the basic form of you cheated on your original man. He said, "Those who have not sinned can throw the first stone."
Got it.
And everybody left because they're fuck, I have sinned.
Anyways, moving on. Nicky Boy's playing a character for his audience. Where, oh my god, he's so fucking edgy. I wish he'd edge me. Okay,
Pause.
good luck, guys. No pause with the infatuation with Nick Fuentes. No fucking pause for these
Oh, you
kids.
actually wanted it.
It's just, it is what it is.
Tune in with Nick.
It is what it is. He's just wrong, and I'd say lying. Like, someone could just be ignorant of something, but just by law of average, you'd realize, of course, there's philosophers, doctors, scientists, geniuses, there's dumbasses, there's athletes, there's non-athletes, there's moms, there's single women. It's all this shit. All exists. He's just boiling it down to stupid fucking points for the sake of what? Getting the audience like, yeah, oh my god, I'm so cool and edgy. Look what Nick said, and I'm watching it when it happens. Wow, let me give him $100.
Well,
just want to,
either
but I want to
they're
get
a
past
wife,
the
a
lame.
whore, or none.
I want to get past the lame here. Let's move on.
Like they can be all those. They can be all those other things, but they're either a wife, a whore, or none.
Okay. Thank you, genius.
They can be a friend. They can be fucking whatever they want to be.
All right, let's continue. I checked this out. Epstein's team
God
booked
damn.
Steve Bannon a Delta flight from JFK to the U.S. Virgin Islands on May 4th, 2019, with Epstein personally instructing staff, Steve will stay on island. This was 2 months before Epstein's arrest. A former White House chief strategist flying to the private island of a convicted sex offender on his dime with accommodations arranged by Epstein himself. Bannon has a lot of explaining to do. Well, guess what? Bannon explained it. What he explained was the communist Marxist takeover of jihadists and brain. He's like he's pretending like this shit doesn't exist right now. Like he's not trending for it. Like people aren't talking about him. Oh my god, brain rot. Steve Bannon continues to go and make a show. Apparently Daly. I think it's Daly. Where he's absolutely ignoring the story where there's like 10 bajillion fucking text messages between him and the most famous guy in the world right now, Jeffrey Epstein. He's pretending it's not happening. He's going to tell us about Marxist jihadists. Are you kidding me? Right now, Bannon
Him and Jack Posobiec fucking.
Bannon is calling every resource he has. Yo, Trump, start this fucking war with Iran already. Like, please start this fucking thing. Please get it done. Before he's trying to, like, maybe say, like, oh, we shouldn't go to war with Iran. Now this motherfucker's probably in the camp of, like, yo, go to war with them. This needs to happen, okay? Just,
you know what's crazy? Fucking Bannon is, like, really good friends with Jack Posobiec, and they do, like, a show together. And, like, I wonder
he
if
works here.
Jack Posobiec has any connections to Epstein. Or if Bannon fucking keeps him on the fucking, like, not that close a friend list.
All I know is Posobiec is a twerpy fuckface. Someone say Zaocon. More so neocon. Whatever. Either way, like, he's, in my opinion, a full of shit devil worshiper. Like Bannon is, like Alex Jones is, like Trump is, Rubio. These same type of people. Full of shit devil
He
worshippers.
does that Catholic fucking put a black cross on your forehead every year, and it's fucking just the fucking sketchiest looking shit. It makes him look satanic.
He doesn't believe in Christ. He doesn't know Christ. He's a faker for the sake of the audience.
No, like, only people do that are, like, I know so many Catholic people in my family and just Catholic people I know. They don't ever fucking do that. Like, that's just so performative bullshit.
It's like an Ash Wednesday thing or whatever the fuck. There's plenty of people that do that. For sure.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that do that. But I'm saying that guy doesn't know or believe in Christ.
No,
I think he's a faker.
Plenty.
What was that? Plenty? I don't know. Anyways, just want to show how Steve Bannon is not really going over this Epstein stuff because he's so prominent in it. Because they're such good buddies. I mean, Bannon was just doing a documentary. My bad. Let's keep it moving with the now infamous picture of former Prince Andrew Windsor, whatever you want to call him. After he spent, what was it, like 12 hours in police custody over some, it involves Epstein, but it wasn't sexual stuff. It was more so about him giving away maybe government secrets to Epstein through email. And he got questioned on it, and this picture is going to be around everywhere. And I'm like, I actually kind of feel bad for the guy. I just look at it, like, I kind of feel bad, like, I don't know if he's actually in, like, a, oh my god, my life is over type shit, or if he's, like, just caught in the middle of an expression, right? Maybe he's about to sneeze, and then they snap the picture. Right? You gotta be fair. If you're not fair, who's gonna do the fair stuff in the world, right? You just be you and a bunch of cunts lying to everyone and being dishonest. Like, let's just be fair to everyone. Maybe he's about to sneeze right here. Also, I want to replace his picture with Michael Tracy, where it says, now he's sweating. That'd be perfect. Someone, get on it. Someone Photoshop that. Make it happen. Anyways, let's move on to something I saw earlier that pissed me the fuck off. Not because I'm some fan of Wexner. Like, he should be questioned and all that shit. But the way the guy talked to him, like, you little fucking twerp. Like, some guy you just want to drag by the tie into the parking lot and slap the shit out of him. What are you gonna do to anyone? You ain't doing shit. I can't stand little pussies talking tough. I can't fucking stand it. But I wouldn't, I don't engage in physical violence like that. I'm just saying, just that's so like it angered me for some reason. As you'll hear right here, keep your ears open because this is some wild shit. Here we go.
It was just regularly done. Answer the question. Okay. It was just
and he fucking played it off. They all played it off. He's like laughing. If you answer the question in more than 5 words, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Okay? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I'm like, you're not doing shit. You've been a pussy your whole. I can tell. You can smell them a mile away. You've been a pussy your whole life, haven't you? It's just weird seeing like this dude talking to an old guy like that. Once again, not that I'm Team Wexner. It's just like optics wise and the way it just
grips him by the neck.
Like, yeah, don't more than 5 words. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, You're not doing shit. I get his figure of speech. It's just the way he said it and the way he tried to play it off. I'm like, ew, you gross fuck. Either way, he was rambling quite a bit, the Wexner guy. He was rambling throughout the entire proceedings or the deposition. And his lawyer's like, yo, shut the fuck up already. Like, yo, shut the fuck up. But you could say it nicer than that, man. Maybe being mean like that. Crazy. I'll play it one more time in case people didn't hear it. One more time. There you go.
It was just regularly done.
Hey, you ain't doing shit, pussy.
Answer the question. Okay. It was just regularly.
You're not gonna do shit, you little fucking pussy. You might fuck up some like a box of donuts, but you're not fucking anyone up. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking weirdo. Fucking kill you. Loser. Can't stand motherfuckers like that, bro. I get it. He doesn't literally mean kill. I mean, some people might think he actually means that. He's more like you're making my job harder, so I'm gonna yell at you for a second. But still, just the way it came off to me, I'm like, go fuck yourself, dude. You twerp. These are the smart people? Wexner and his lawyer, those are the smart guys? The questions from the fucking congressman or whoever the fuck was asking questions here in this deposition, those are the fucking smart people? Are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. But whatever. We're just gonna keep it moving. Let's get on to the Whitney Webb interview, sitting down with Redacted, which will cover Prince Andrew and Wexner. Here we go.
Brought before lawmakers on Wednesday, but not in Congress.
It was yesterday.
In a congressional hearing room. They went to his house. You know what? We'll come to you. Don't travel to Washington. Most people, when they get a congressional deposition, they have to get their happy ass into a congressional chair, but not billionaires. Not if you own Victoria.
They're different.
Yeah, totally different. So they went to Ohio to conduct a closed door. I think that's not unrelated because this drop site.
What the actual fuck? Did it just skip on me like that? Probably because the live stream ended, right? That's crazy to happen.
They go live like all day.
The timestamp changed. What the freak? Did they edit or something? Okay. Go here.
However, even though we now have proof that he was Epstein, longtime patron and financial backer Leslie Wexner was finally brought before lawmakers on Wednesday, but not in Congress.
Okay.
Not if you own Victoria.
They're different.
Yeah, totally different. So they went to Ohio to conduct a closed door deposition about his decades-long relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. No Republicans attended in.
I fucking love this. Now it's lagging. There we go.
Person. Okay. Why? There was no public testimony. Now we're getting small bits of this in video clips, but we didn't for a while. So yeah, must be nice to be, so rich and connected. Now remember, he was Epstein's main source of funds for years. When asked if he'd ever, even though we now have proof that he was named by the Justice Department as a co-conspirator, he was asked if he'd ever been interviewed by the FBI or the DOJ or any law enforcement. He said, no, I'm brand new here. No, I mean, I've had people say my name a bunch, but I've been living my best life. Here is his statement he released. It's very much, I'm an old man. I have this nice family. I'm too old for this kind of thing. Epstein only had power of attorney because I was too busy with my very important empire that was started with bootstraps and shoelaces and a couple coins on the floor. Basically, that's the story. Okay, well, for you.
Don't you guys feel amazing when you have someone's lawyer saying, yo, stop talking? It was like a guy here just talking and, giving his side of the story, and his own lawyer says, stop talking. Shut the fuck up or I'll kill you. It's like, this is the world we live in. That's called defending justice. That's the world we live in. Wake up. Here we go.
years, investigative journalist Whitney Webb has argued that Wexner was not a peripheral figure. This is not brand new to her. It is brand new to the media. And so we're so lucky to have her join us today. I believe this is one of your first interviews since all of this document dump. So thank you so much. It's great to see you. How do you feel about Lex Wexner getting this,
hot nerd Whitney Webb
billionaire treatment?
Great to see you.
Yeah, well, nice to see you all too, and thanks for having me. Yeah, so it's really not, it should be pretty telling to everyone that he had Congress come to him instead of having to go to Congress. Exactly how Leslie Wexner operates. He's the richest man in Ohio. As I've documented in my books and a series of articles, he's been linked to crimes that have been covered up by the Columbus Police Department, leaving murders, among other things, unsolved to allow him to continue to engage in the impunity that he has enjoyed pretty much his, ever since he began engaging in criminal activity, which, as far as I can tell, at least goes back to at some point in the early 1980s. Around the time he was, becoming a billionaire, which I believe was in 1985 or so. And I mean, honestly, Congress has said that they're going to release the deposition and videos of it and are making it like a big show, that there's been accountability because Wexner, who was named a was named a co-conspirator, and they redacted that. That he's finally been interviewed in connection with his role in Jeffrey Epstein's network. I mean, it's just honestly bonkers. I think what we can anticipate to see in that video, if and when it is released, is a lot of softball questions, Wexner denying everything, and then being like, okay, thanks for your time.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for flying out. I hope you had a nice lunch here at my mansion in Ohio, but I'm not going to Washington, D.C. anytime soon. Do you think that there will be...
Basically, Whitney's correct. That's basically what happened. I didn't do that. Hey, did you do that? No. All right. Thank you for meeting with us. See you later. And the same thing happened with Ghislaine Maxwell with the Todd Blanche interview. It just is what it is, right? But let's be real. I'm not expecting much from those guys anyways. You always look for little moments where possibly they say something where it's like, oh, you fucked up saying that. And so is that fucking lawyer. I think his name is Michael Levy, or Levi, or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah. He was wary of that as well, which is why he's like, yo, shut the fuck up. 5 words or less, and then we're out of here. Job done. Here we go. He's an old man. Maybe he's not around as many people. He wants to look like couldn't talk,
A member of former PM in Norway arrested. We have Prince Andrew arrested in the UK. I think those are the only
He was released.
Oh, he was released? Okay.
He was released after 11 to 12 hours, I believe.
Okay, so
yes.
So, but my question is, that's the only 2. One of them's been released. Do you think we're going to see any other actual arrests in the United States, prosecutions?
Yeah, I don't anticipate Leslie Wexner being arrested at any point. He is far too powerful, and his money is everywhere. And honestly, he has extremely deep ties to numerous officials in the Israeli government through his philanthropies. He focused pretty much the bulk of the Wexner Foundation on training up prominent figures, first in the U.S. In the Jewish community in particular, and now those Wexner fellows, essentially run AIPAC. It has an extremely close relationship with AIPAC, obviously one of the most powerful lobbying groups in the United States. And the other side of his leadership training via his foundation has been with Israeli public officials who have, these relationships as a result of that. With Wexner, and I doubt, given, AIPAC's influence, as well as, what you touched on earlier with Israel's role with Epstein, it just does not seem particularly likely in any capacity. And I would also refer to the fact that one of the things that will never be investigated is the role of Epstein and also Wexner in this scandal that was covered up in the mid-1990s under the Clinton administration. That's remembered today as Chinagate, but was obviously a lot larger than that. It was a smuggling operation that utilized Southern Air Transport, which you'll remember as the CIA front that was used to smuggle drugs and weapons during the Iran-Contra era. After the Iran-Contra era, the Iran-Contra crowd utilized the same network again to facilitate Chinagate, and they used Southern Air Transport, which came into direct connection to be dominant in that same period of time, was dominated by Leslie Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein, and they had it relocated not that far from New Albany, Ohio, just to run their cargo, ostensibly for the limited, from the Rickenbacker Airport in Ohio to Hong Kong. And people like Ohio's Inspector General called it the Mayor Lansky route because he argued they were affiliated with the mob. And Columbus PD, just a few years prior, had produced a document linking Leslie Wexner to the mob and his network in the murder of the lawyer for the Limited, Arthur Shapiro. And in that document, they detailed extensive ties of Wexner to organized crime affiliates. And as I noted in my book, citing Catherine Austin Fitts, she was at an event and overheard a government official say that Leslie Wexner was one of the main launderers for organized crime cash flows in the United States. And this is something, as I've detailed in my book, that Epstein was very involved with this network that involves organized crime and intelligence, specifically in allowing them to illicitly move funds and in money laundering. And so, I mean, arguably Epstein was a front for that for Leslie Wexner. And this is stuff that they absolutely will, they just can't touch with a 10-foot pole without massive reverberations, for the national security state of the U.S., which has been beholden to this, I guess, shadow government of sorts in which Epstein operated, but he was a middleman for it. He was not the head of it. And so until there's an investigation into the people behind Epstein, including Wexner, and justice there, I think most of what we're going to end up seeing is going to be superficial, and maybe more will be admitted or discovered in these Epstein files, but don't expect the government to necessarily do anything about it.
Right.
Okay. I agree, but I don't think people are letting this go. Now, not everyone's going to talk about what she just talked about, which I didn't fucking know about. Honestly, most people don't fucking know about that, right? That's little intricate details of fucking organized crime in tandem with the government and yada, 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 right? Intelligence agencies. Most people are not going to know anything about that unless you look at Whitney Webb or Ryan Dawson or any of these fucking, people's books and documentaries and shit like that. But the overall story is not going anywhere. And I said this last night, unless there's like feet on the ground, fucking war in Iran, there's nothing usurping this story and as far as people's attention. I saw an email today where I guess there's FBI documents that this Jean-Luc Brunel, another considered co-conspirator guy, was ready to go to the feds with information on Epstein. I got files and shit. I got evidence. Let me show you this. And apparently that never happened. He never met up with feds, and he ended up dying.
Dead.
Yeah, he ended up dying in jail apparently. But people are gonna be like, "Yo, what happened here?" There's no investigation. There's another story where there's like a worker, like an older woman, was like a maid or something like that, and I guess she got fired for reasons she didn't like, and apparently took some stuff with her, took some fucking hard drives, some evidence, something, and offered it.
You'd be rude not to.
And offered it to cops for free. This is allegedly, just saying, allegedly. Offered it to cops for free. She doesn't want any payment. They use like a religious reason, like, oh, we're Catholic, we don't believe in, like, we're not going to get paid for this. It's just doing the right thing. We're going to give this away to you guys. And apparently we're denied by several organizations, I believe. From Fed to, what was the other thing? Whatever. But they shopped it around, and apparently no one wanted to take this evidence. And there's the boxes of fucking hard drives and shit that we've seen that the FBI or whoever took pictures of that Epstein had in his possession that they're holding on to still, apparently. Maybe they scrubbed them. Maybe they didn't look at them. Maybe they did and said, all right, we can't show this to the public. But you can, like, describe enough, right? And it can't all be Epstein, can it? Then you have, once again, this is more so for the Michael Tracy's of the world. I think I saw a CNN video saying, like, yeah, we have these girls saying, yeah, I'm 15, doing weird things for, I guess, whoever's filming, right? It's in the Epstein files. Whoever's filming it, which I assume is Epstein or one of his associates filming that, as these girls are trying to look hot on camera or whatever the fuck. They're blocked out, so it's not, crazy, but still. There's plenty of here that people will get a hold of, right? CNN, giant company. Now even the older people are finding it. It's just not going to go anywhere. I don't see the story going anywhere unless, once again, boots on the ground in Iran or all like full-scale war. But even that will be attached to Epstein. They'll say, look, they're trying to distract us from Epstein, see? But all right, let's continue. Actually, let me leave and come back real fast. All right, here we go.
Official is the right word because it seems like, and we don't have the full tape, but Democrats just were like, what did you know? Nothing? Okay, that's fine. We're going to go talk to the cameras now. So they didn't actually come with details of why'd you kick people out for asking about this power of attorney? Why would he have more rights than you to your estate? How come he can?
This stuff's going to lead to, I'm not going to say what Whitney's answer is going to be, but I definitely believe the possibility that when Democrats come into power, because let's be real, the Republican Party is fledgling right now. They're eating ass right now. Democrats come into power. No pause. When Democrats come into power, they'll use this to add more child protective shit to your internet and your use of the internet. That's my guess. They're going to use the Epstein stuff as an excuse because they'll have more power and people will be like, all right, Democrats, you guys aren't the bad guys. The other guys are. So you tell us what to do. Like, well, we need to be able to have access to all your social media accounts and this and that and real IDs and all that stuff. I see that that sounds conspiratorial, but I'm sorry. I can see that as a distinct possibility because it is true when someone says, hey, you guys didn't cover the story. These Democrats, when they were in office, didn't fucking go after the Epstein files. Not really. So, like, what the fuck? Right? There's a real point to that. And it's like, I'm sure they have donors, higher ups, them themselves saying, yeah, we're not touching this one. We'll let Republicans eat shit for this, but we're not going to touch this until it's advantageous. Then when it becomes advantageous, we'll talk about it and, in a limited hangout way, basically. And then when we get into power, we'll do nothing and just keep blaming Trump and the Republicans for it. But try to protect your children with the Protect Children's Act, where you need photo ID to fucking go on Facebook or something. All right.
Yeah, the Protect Children's Act is gonna go hard.
Yeah.
With the censorship and the surveillance.
Oh yeah. All right. What's that play? Here we go.
With details of why'd you kick people out for asking about this power of attorney? Why would he have more rights than you to your estate? How come he can buy islands and you just kind of don't know? Which is what, you and I might come with a lot more homework and say, explain these things. And they let him get away with like, I just don't know. I don't know. So why do you, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say a lot of Wexner attempted to wash his hands of this years
Two
ago,
hot
saying
nerds.
that they
I love it.
disentangled themselves in 2007. And since then, it's now been shown that they were communicating a year after that. So now it's proven that he was lying. But basically, the excuse he gave is that Epstein embezzled money from the foundation, but they never showed any proof of that.
Right.
Money was moved around.
He's like, I'll never
but
get
there's
an
no
accounting.
evidence that Epstein embezzled it. Yeah. They never charged him. They were, so if you want to believe the Wexners that Epstein embezzled $42 million, they were just like, okay, that's fine. Bye. Keep the $42 million.
Jeffrey
friend
who?
of the show, Derek Bros, just wrote a piece about Les Wexner's very bad week because not only he had to testify in front of Congress, but also in the OSU sexual abuse scandal. And there's a whole hornet's nest there tied to, of course, his brands and OSU. I mean, maybe you could talk a little bit more about that.
Well, he's one of the main donors to OSU. I think their medical school is named after him. He's been on like the board of overseers or trustees of OSU for a long time. I'm not sure of his specific connection to the sex scandal, but I think it's worth looking into, considering that not only do you have, for example, as we have just discussed, his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, but other executives that worked under L Brands for Wexner, including, I believe, the former head of Abercrombie and Fitch, have been charged with sex crimes against minors. So why is this a repeating pattern around Wexner money?
Right.
Such a good point.
Now, I'm very curious because I only in these files learned about Dennis Hirsch, who took over.
Sorry. But if anyone remembers like the Foxcatcher story with the DuPont guy trying about like I think it's like a private wrestling team. Not like, WWE wrestling, but like actual like Olympic style wrestling. And people were alleging that this guy was like hitting on some of the wrestlers, this DuPont guy. He ended up killing one of his wrestlers, and going to jail. I think he died in jail. It's like, man, there's like I don't get it with the weird like sexual stuff. I don't know, man. Is it like a power thing? Is it to feel powerful? I could see it as like because we need to go over that one day. Like, what is the psyche of this crazy shit? Like, what's the pathology behind it for real? The dominance? Is that the thing? Is it like, fuck it, I can do whatever I want? Just to feel like I can do whatever I want and get away with it. Maybe that's the thing. I think that's worthy of examination. Other than like, I get the factoid information that people like Whitney Webb does, right? I get that, but I'm more curious, like, why? If we understand the why, we can maybe stop it, right? Maybe it's something that happens in their childhood. Maybe it's whatever, But that's worthy of examination. All right, here we go.
Is this a repeating pattern around Wexner money?
Right.
Such a good point.
Now, I'm very curious because I only in these files learned about Dennis Hirsch, who took over for Wexner. And he said, look, Dennis Hirsch had the same power of attorney, the same. Is that true? And do we know anything about continued involvement, or is there a credible story that like it ended with Epstein?
What do you mean it ended with Epstein? Like what ended with
any
Epstein?
kind of, suspicion, any cloud of suspicion ended around Les Wexner when he sent Epstein packing in 2007.
You mean in 2007, Wexner stopped engaging in any and all potential criminal activity?
And so
Right.
that is his story, is I was never connected to any criminal activity. And then Dennis Hirsch comes in, and then there's no cloud of suspicion ever again. So I don't know much about Dennis Hirsch. He says in this deposition, in this statement that, Dennis Hirsch had the same power over my estate that Epstein always had once I replaced him. So what do you know about Dennis Hirsch, and is that true? And he's dead now.
I haven't actually followed Wexner's finances extensively beyond the connection with Epstein. So that ends around the time of Epstein's first arrest. And obviously from that point on, Epstein rebranded as a tech investor and got involved with people, a lot of the big tech people like Peter Thiel, and was moving money around for people like Leon Black and Bill Gates and what have you. So seemingly moved on from him in that period. But given, a lot of his activities earlier on from that period, which I have studied extensively, I don't really anticipate that a lot of Wexner's activities that are less than legal would have discontinued just because he replaced Epstein with someone else.
Right. All on the up and up now.
Yeah, it's all good. You've been reporting on the Epstein files for years, or Jeffrey Epstein specifically for years. What do you, since we haven't had a chance to talk with you since these files dropped and you haven't done any interviews about it, what is genuinely new to you in these files that you maybe didn't know before? What changes the story? And what's just like maybe repackaged material that you've known for a long time?
So, I haven't had a chance to, it's like millions of files, so I can't really speak to the whole dump and say, but it's definitely corroborated a lot of things that I've reported in the past. That's Israeli intelligence stuff. I've been working on a story on and off since 2023 that I'm actually about to release, but it was about this sheik who has now been noted as having been redacted by the DOJ, who was sending torture videos to Epstein. I was following that guy for a while, and then Drop Site published emails between them last fall, and now there's even more that are just extremely disturbing this time. So that really opens up that story even more, and I'm actually kind of glad that I ended up waiting a couple of years to publish it, just because it'll be more comprehensive now, because that's a story that really goes back to the Bush administration, and not a lot has been said about Epstein in his time at the Bush administration. Allegedly, the sweetheart deal, received approval from higher ups in the Bush administration. According to Nick Bryant, it was either former Attorney General Alberto Gonzales or it was George W. Bush himself. And if you look at that particular relationship, it was going on in the Bush administration and may have had a role in the Bushes wanting, or Gonzalez potentially wanting to keep the heat, or help keep the heat off of Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, I'm sorry, this has to be said because it's hilarious. Michael Tracy his couch is melting from the amount of sweat. He is so fucking tilted right now. I almost guarantee it. He is full tilted. He's like, oh, God, sweetheart deal? What sweetheart deal? He went to jail, damn it. All right, here we go. Just needs to be mentioned. Okay, here we go.
Keep the heat, or help keep the heat off of Jeffrey Epstein. But there's a lot of things, and it's hard to cover them all, because for a long time, it should have been pretty clear to people that have followed this case closely that there are a lot of different angles, because Epstein had a lot of interest and directed money to a lot of different avenues. So one example is transhumanism. Another is his interest in eugenics. These are reflected in the emails that have been released. His interest in cryptocurrency and stable coins and Bitcoin, things of that nature. Really any other angle you want to talk about from, the period these emails cover is reflected in there. But what's interesting is that there aren't a lot of emails from the early 2000s when some of the stuff with the Bush administration that I'll be publishing a report on soon were going on. And some of these new releases paint that in a more interesting light than maybe, say, before their release. So again, I think people are going to continue to find things, because there's, 3 million files or so to dig through. But ultimately, what's going on in this case is you have Epstein fronting for a broader network. And so keeping the focus on Epstein, it's important, obviously, to understand what he was doing, but we have to understand, too, and what I've endeavored to show is that he was fronting for a larger group that still very much have their claws over the U.S. government, and obviously the future of the U.S. and much more. And so we should pay attention to that, and also not become so distracted by searching for things in the files that we, ignore the fact that, for example, Israel, who is very involved with Epstein and allegedly used contraband and blackmail to manipulate U.S. policy, has been trying for decades to get the U.S. to go to war with Iran on that behalf. That could very well happen. So let's not forget to pay attention to other things and be, fall into get distracted at a time when, the people that Epstein helped serve, among other groups, might be finally getting what they want at a major cost for American lives and money, and obviously other civilian lives, among other things. I guess there's...
Actually, just real quick, I believe what I've heard people saying is that there's a particular date where a lot of, there's emails, relatively speaking, there's emails before that you see, a decent amount of them, emails after this date that you see, but once again, September 11th, apparently those guys were not emailing that day, apparently, or the FBI didn't get access to it, or they just didn't release it at all. I'm just saying. Once again, just for the conspiracy-minded, in case you're like, wait a minute, that is suspicious, right? And they never heard that before. I'm seeing people allege that there's a date that we all know about as Americans, or even around the world, where it's like, how come all these emails on that day are just gone, or not really there, relatively speaking? I think it's worthy of looking at. But yeah, she's right. I was saying this yesterday. Like, we need to not just only go look at, although I understand why people morally focus more so on pedophilia or minors being sex trafficked or anyone being sex trafficked. I get the scandalous nature of that, but there is a lot of geopolitics happening in those emails. A lot. Emails, text messages, video files, all of it. All of it. This guy setting up meetings between foreign nations. This guy you never heard of could be having, let's be real, a heavier finger on the scale than you ever dreamed of in regards to policy for your fucking government. Whether you're American, Israeli, Saudi, South American countries involved, UAE, Qatar. Regular citizens do not have that type of pull that apparently Jeffrey Epstein did. I'm not saying he's the ringleader. I'm just saying he was a part of it. He was essentially, I don't know what word you want to call it. Almost like a consigliere in a way, almost like an advisor or a guy who can set up meetings between people, between quote unquote powerful people, powerful governmental people, and also private
Get
people.
all Michael Tracy on me and use these big ass words. Jesus.
Sorry. But yeah, like he sets up meetings between private like big enterprise, industrial, corporate, whatever the fuck companies with governments and vice versa. Individuals within government or within these private sectors or even celebrity sectors of all, he's setting people up. His own girls, right, that he's recruiting from foreign countries or recruiting from the U.S. and say, hey, I can offer you a modeling career. Just come join me, right? Or girls that may have been a part of the trafficking themselves, right? Let's not throw that away. Where he has connections, he can set them up for different ventures in life. I'm just saying, this guy seems to be all over the fucking place, and I think we only got a smidget, like a tiny peek into what that shit is. So there's a much bigger story here than just straight up, oh, these guys are weird sexually. I think it's much bigger than that. But, pause. Let me leave and come back again. Lagging. I just love the internet. I know I do. All right, here we go.
That's even like Prince
Okay.
Andrew today. Like his brother, like Charles or whatever, he was like really good friends with Jimmy Savile and shit. So he's no,
Oh yeah.
he's not unaware of all of this stuff. If not, he's probably involved.
Well, just like typical any story where something bad is happening, it's more than just, okay, one rich guy looks past or ignores or helps facilitate the crimes of another rich guy or whatever the fuck. A lot of times it's regular people looking away and turning their backs. Not to be fucking King Charles. It could be fucking people that worked at the BBC that said, after things come out, like, yeah, okay, we know what was going on, but we didn't want to say anything. Like, well, there you go. It isn't just strictly royalty looking past things.
Exactly that.
Yeah, there's a whole thing with the BBC and Jimmy
Journalist did
Savile.
exactly.
Yeah. And then,
No, there was a journalist that straight up admitted at some point, yeah, I had this full story on the whole Epstein thing, and they told me to kill it. It fucking killed me to fucking do it, but they said I had to fucking kill this story.
Oh yeah, that girl, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that blonde chick said that. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, yeah, that happens too, where people, it's for real, compromise. I don't know about you. I'm quitting that day. I'm quitting that day. Like, oh, you don't want me to run the store? Okay, fine. I'm gonna take all this stuff I got.
Well, the only
all your
reason-
cameras, but I'm gonna take my work. I'm gonna go take this somewhere else. Good luck. See you later. That's simple.
The only reason we know that story went a couple months down the road, she did get fired or she quit. I forgot the details, but that's why we know that story.
Yeah. Well,
Because she told it. She told the story of that.
well, you know
I
what?
think it was a leaked video. She was like venting before, and then it was leaked.
It's like the ABC lady, right? There's when the camera's rolling off, it's not live anymore, but it's off. It's still recording hours, I think, right? And she's like, yeah, I had that fucking Epstein story like 2 years ago. They killed it. Right?
That's the same lady.
No, it's not the same lady. That's with Epstein. We're talking about Jimmy
Oh, it's
Savile
not?
and BBC. That's different.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And David like walks past like, I
Fucking
told you, mate.
Matt Hunter
Keeps walking.
calls fucking Whitney Webb Wendy.
What? Who cares? Whatever. Irrelevant to say right now.
Matt Hunter calls Whitney Webb Wendy Webb.
Awesome.
That
Anyways.
shit's funny. Fucking Kurt Metzger calls her fucking Whitey Webb. Like, you're fucking dumbass.
But yeah, there's a lot of like, it's those small little compromises. It is. And I'm sorry, I will not give away your agency because, oh my God, if I lose my job, I can't do like, sorry. Would you want me to just call you Alex Jones then? You just lack the courage for the job? Do something else then. You could do something else. You may not be able to live in the house you live in, right? This, 3-story, very nice neighborhood house anymore. But what's your character worth? And it's just a collection of small compromises that led to this shit in the first place. Let's be honest. There's plenty of people that probably look the other way that are just regular ass people. Some stood up and said something, right? Let's not throw them away. I'm just saying. Those guys were probably around a lot more people than we're even accounting for mentally. Not that they're the blame for Epstein's actions or people around Epstein's actions, but let's be real. Did someone like turn their brain off and look the other way? Like, listen, I don't want any headaches. Let me do something else. I'm just saying, things don't change without someone making a change in their own behavior. All right, let's keep playing. Here's more of Whitney Webb and Redacted.
Finally getting what they want at a major cost for American lives and money, and obviously other civilian lives, among other things. I guess there's a lot more I could say too, but ultimately I think there's a lot more needs to be done in investigating Epstein's activities as it relates to finances. There's a lot of ties to various financial crises, efforts to short currencies around the world. He was a known Forex trader. He worked with a lot of currency traders and had connections to them. People like Jimmy Goldsmith, for example. And others that were referred to by the New York Times in the 90s as a cabal of, currency traders that were basically destroying whole economies. And pretty much everyone in that cabal has ties to the Rothschild banking dynasty, which Epstein in these recent files acknowledge he represents. But that's quite clear that was the case. If you read my book, Robert Maxwell openly fronted for them, among.
I forgot to fucking bring that up or play that clip of Wexner. I mean, I think say like, oh no, I got nothing to do with him. It's the Rothschilds. That's how he got his money, and that's how he got his start. I didn't give him his start. It was the Rothschilds. I'm just saying, just feeding into the conspiracy shit. I'm just saying, I believe that was one of his answers. Like, I didn't get Epstein started. It was them. All right, here we go.
Other interests. And so if we don't follow these threads, as I've been saying, away from Epstein and higher up, he was being puppeteered by people, and he was obviously of use to them. I think the narrative that Epstein was an idiot and all of this, maybe he didn't use good grammar in emails, but he was obviously sought out for his abilities in illicit finance and smuggling, among other things. So I think it's important to keep all of that in mind if we actually want to understand what was going in here and have any.
I think he was very crafty guy
of justice,
but like crafty and socially inept or not inept, socially capable or whatever.
You saying Epstein? Right.
Like he could probably be a great He could probably be a great salesman.
And he has that New York thing to him. I'll give him that, I guess. But like, it's too
That
many
greasy
movers.
fucking slimy New Yorker vibe.
Too many movers and shakers to where they can't just like that's not enough to fool them, right? You may be able to like pick up a girl's number, but how you like shipping in fucking Ukrainian or Russian women across the world on your private plane. Like, how's that happening? Because you can talk. Because you're charismatic when
Oh
you
yeah,
talk.
yeah, yeah.
Like, come on. Like, that's too much, right?
No, no, but that helps you. That helps you in business and in like
Yeah.
networking with other creepy motherfuckers.
I mean, if you're talking to regular people.
No, but I think you're implying. I think you're implying like there's got to be something deeper to where like people are letting this fly by. Like there's got to be some kind of power behind his ability to manipulate in this form.
No. It's not extra
Oh yeah.
power. No. What I said. Are you referring to what I was saying before about regular people like looking the other way? Is that what you're referring to?
No, what you just said on the sense of him just talking isn't enough.
Yeah, with certain
Like the
people, it's not enough.
CIA and other groups helping him.
Yeah,
Well,
Like
no,
like
like
Wexner
big
helping
money
him.
business deals and
get,
shit like that. It's not enough.
getting getting a girl to cross the world just because somebody says you got a chance at modeling, and like the process of doing that like there's a legitimate process that would keep track of kids going for actual modeling in a different country, like a legal way that would be protective to them. Am I wrong on that?
It's called school. What I've seen a lot of is school. These girls getting like school, like visas to go to schools because our country's so amazing, right? So you can get them over here that way. And there's like an email where Epstein's like, no more Americans, they're too much trouble. Probably because of the 2007,
No,
8
so
stuff. They got.
what I'm saying, I've experienced at least witnessing the idea. I didn't sit there and fill out the paperwork with my mom, but she adopted a kid from South Africa. He came to America. It costs $17,000 for the process and the fees and stuff. There's a whole bunch of paperwork that has to be filled out. Like they know where this kid's going. They know that like he'll be going to this school. Like
So you're calling your mom a
the
leftist. That's what you're
the
doing. Got it.
system's keeping track of what's going on with the human being.
Okay.
Like at least our side in America is supposed to be doing that. How is he not like, okay, I've got this 14-year-old kid coming over from modeling, and she's going to be staying in this place, and she's going to be attending this school for 6 months to a year or longer, whatever.
I think a lot of the
There's
regular
got to be
people.
something more.
It's called money. A lot of the regular people that are observing these things
Right.
that are looking the other way, it's like, you have money, you must be a legit guy, right? You must be legit. And like he had connections to that to where he can say, "Hey, senator, allow this girl to enter the country," or maybe you can tell a friend to tell a senator, like, "Hey, allow this girl to enter the country," right? Like it's like, shit like that.
No.
That's called
What I'm
connections and
saying,
money.
I think his connections let him do this in the dark. Like there is no paperwork needed to have this person come to America
Yeah, you got like
because
Not
he's
with his
got the
name on it.
connections.
Not with his name on it. Yeah, not with his name on it. But there's
Well,
probably
it might not
paperwork.
even need to be at all. I'm saying it's to the point where I suspect, I don't know one way or the other, he could probably do this with zero paperwork altogether.
I've heard the idea of if there's like landing strips at properties he owns where it's essentially just off the books. But once again, when it's off the
Right.
books, it's hard to confirm or deny something. It's hard to. It needs to be investigated, basically, right? The emails are not enough. We've seen ideas of that in the emails, but like we don't. You need more than that. You need to like investigate. Like, was there a paper trail anywhere? Was there a paper trail from the countries these girls are coming from? Is there a paper trail in America anywhere? We don't fucking know. I don't think. We need more information. We need an actual investigative team, not the bullshit we have now. Like that's what we need. But maybe they were off the books. Who knows? He flew him into Little St. James or some shit like that, or New Mexican ranch with his private plane, and boom, who's gonna care? Who's gonna look into it?
Then Yeah, or Miami and drove him to New York, or New York and drove him to Miami, or New Mexico, whatever place he wanted them to be for that time period.
You could see, like, also the idea of the trafficking thing. I'm telling you, there's like kind of like social, in my opinion, like social evidence or something like that, where he's like telling her, like, oh no, like, listen, don't try to be so sexy. Like, you're trying too hard to be sexy. Just be yourself, and it'll be sexy. And don't forget to learn some English. Don't forget to learn some English. God damn it. I put a tone on that, but like there are words saying that, like please learn English. Like, almost like make yourself more valuable to possibly sell. Or maybe he's telling the girl it's about a modeling career, right? Don't try to be sexy. Just look like but that's still, if they don't know that they're actually going to be like put in front of people at parties and shit like that, and not actually getting a modeling job, which some of these girls actually say in emails to Jeffrey Epstein, where like, hey, you made me think this was about like modeling, but actually it's not that. I'm out of here. There are girls who like walked away before they were truly victimized, as far as I've seen in some of these emails. So, but I'm saying, like, they could be thinking that they're getting, like, you got to look this way, you got to do this. This is the adult, he knows better, or he's older and more experienced, you got to listen to him, right? He knows these guys or that guy, he has connections, so you got to, like, shut up and listen to him. And once again, for Michael Tracy, dumb fucks out there, pseudo-intellectuals, I don't care if they're fucking 28 years old when that happens. The point is that he's promising a certain career to some of these girls, and they're thinking that's what they're there for. Then they get caught, then enough of them will get caught up in something. Some leave. Some say, fuck this, I'm out of here. Some stick around and say, okay, it's worth it if I can get that movie role or that acting career or that fucking modeling career. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit here.
Matt Hunter just tagged me and asked me to ask you to read his question. It's on topic.
Read the fucking question.
In your world where prisons are immoral and the death penalty is immoral, how would you punish child rapists?
Of course, you perceive that as relevant. And of course, like Matt Hunter, are you in orbit of my sun or something like that? Is that where you want to be? You're not allowed, but like, is that where you're trying to be? Am I the center of your fucking universe? Holy shit.
Yes.
Also, there's no point to be made. Like, no one said these things. Person is immoral. Death penalty? Yeah, I'm against that for sure. Prison is, once again, I look at the way we do it right now, and I think we can all say we could do this a lot better. A lot better. If we were doing that at all. But the point is to find out, why do people commit crimes in the first place? Or at least what we call crimes. Because some things we may not consider crimes if we actually thought about it. A la marijuana, right? Where people's records are being expunged as we speak, right? Because they sold weed at some point when it was illegal. But now everyone smokes weed, right? Now it doesn't matter. It's not a crime anymore, right? So it's like there's a lot of nuance to it. So ask
my record's not expunged.
Hold on. So there's a lot of nuance to all this. So stupid fucking questions like that. It's like, I think the point of it is to be in Jordan's orbit instead of like actually making a fucking point. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, you have enough credit in that direction, Mounder, to where that's where it goes. But I'm sure this is what you were looking for. I'm sure you're masturbating right now to me fucking destroying it verbally, like shitting on you verbally. I'm sure you're getting your rocks off with that. Congratulations. Now let's move on. Here's more Whitney Webb talking about this topic. Here we go.
Yeah. A lot of things you just said there, and I want to unpack. So, well, let's just talk about this. So Natalie wants to ask you about the Clintons, which we will, the upcoming depositions. We'll get there in a minute.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I want to follow up with you on the Sultan story, because you said you've been working on that since like 2023 on bin Sulayem, who now has stepped down. Big ties with that Epstein scandal, obviously in Dubai. And their friendship there. So maybe we could dive more deeply into that. And then I also wanted to, well, there's another. There's
Bring
a
up
lot I
Michael
wanna talk
Tracy.
about
Do
here.
it.
So, and any
Ask
kind
her
of.
one question.
I know. I'm just sorry. There's so many people firing questions here in our chat room as too. So
Dude, he's got commercials now, dude.
What do we know about this guy? How dirty was he, and what was he involved with Epstein? Maybe you can unpack that a little
Michael
bit
Tracy on YouTube. They're
Yeah,
putting
I
him
don't
on
want to give too much
commercials.
away because I would like the article to come out because I like having my sources publicly
The brief, I
available
think
when
it's a
go out and
PragerU
publicly
thing.
talk about stuff.
So does Jordan.
But essentially, this was a guy that almost successfully took over every major port in the United
Michael
States.
Jordan.
And it was facilitated to the outrage of
Yo,
Congress.
bro, you got commercials too. I get commercials.
Yeah, I'm monetized for sure. Well, videos that apply to.
Yeah, nah.
But I think he means like actually in commercials. I think that's what Anthony means, or Dubster means, like actually like because
Yeah,
he's getting
it
spots
was
on
a
these shows.
show called The Brief, and
He's in PragerU.
yeah, it was called The Brief, and I think it's a PragerU show, The Brief, and they were like
And Michael
praising
Tracy's-
Michael Tracy for his
I
Yeah.
mean,
it was like a YouTube commercial to watch The Brief so you could hear what Michael Tracy was going to say
now
about
that
what's going
cringe,
on.
though.
Oh my God.
Like, imagine Tracy like embraces them because they fawn over him.
There's a lot of people feeling as though they're stopping anti-Semitism by promoting Mike Tracy because Epstein was Jewish and talked about Jewish supremacy. Let's be real. In the emails he did, and eugenics and all that shit. You talked about that shit and IQs and all that stuff. Ashkenazi IQs. That's in there. And I think they want the story to kind of go away because they're insecure little fuck faces or full of shit artists. I mean, I can't tell if Barry Weiss is a full of shit artist
They
or
don't
like
want
an
people
insecure
to
little pussy. I can't tell. I can't tell.
They don't want people to realize the truth about Khazaria.
Might be an
Yeah,
insecure.
you justify their
Bullshit.
ideological existence, Dubster, so you know. But don't worry, you don't recognize that you're too stupid.
They can't exist without you.
They need you. But no, like the free press, anything Barry Weiss touches is trying to like a little poo-poo the Epstein story, from Coleman Hughes with the free press to all these things that you know as like a kind of Zionist thinking style company. They're all fucking trying to like kind of poo-poo the Epstein stuff. And who's the sweatiest, loudest of them all? Michael fucking Tracy. So thus he is now a celebrity in their circles. Let's just be honest, right? That's basically the case.
Has TPUSA said anything about it? Are they like talking about this?
No, not really. I saw Laura Ingraham.
TPUSA is nothing anymore, man.
Does that Erica Kirk,
It's just a
Barry White
money vault.
collaboration?
That's all it is.
I'm saying that collaboration that was kind of telling to me.
Yeah, the TPS.
Remember how Charlie was talking about it? I'm gonna let my friends at the FBI handle it. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. You got the phone call. And TPUSA, they're still playing ball with that stuff.
I mean, they took a little temperature test with Laura Ingraham, right? Where she's like, "All right, who, thinks the White House has done a good job with the Epstein file?" You just hear, "Boo, boo, fuck you." They weren't saying "fuck you" to her, but but she was definitely taking the temperature for sure, and she probably reported back to the White House with her findings or sent the video to him. And Trump's like, "I don't give a fuck. Fuck it. I'm not doing anything about this. It's all a hoax. Who cares? You guys a loser. Who cares?" It's like, everyone? Like, it's very telling. That's why they're called IQ tests. When you see these guys that claim to be about, like, fame, fortune, audience size, right? When you see them have to say the thing that will actually decrease their audience, it's like a chef's kiss of a fucking IQ test where they have no choice but to stand on a certain side of an issue, no matter what the audience is saying, no matter what they're saying. They have to stand on a certain side. It is what it is. In fact, I have a video, like, I'm not going to put it in this video, but after, actually, maybe I play at the end of this video because it's fucking telling and also very hilarious. And not that I trust this Dean Withers guy, but, like, the person he debates with, I'm sorry, it's the way he goes about it. It's just fucking funny. It's like, damn, there is no bottom for you, right? Pause. Like there, like he can go, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like fuck Fifth Avenue. Let's rape some kids. All right, what's up, play? Here we go. You know.
Publicly available when I go out and publicly talk about stuff. But essentially, this was a guy that almost successfully took over every major port in the United States. And it was facilitated to the outrage of Congress by top people in the Bush administration, some of whom later engaged in the Epstein cover-up. And so if you've been following some of this recent reporting in the emails, of Epstein's relationship with this guy, they say the earliest they can date it to is 2006. There is photographic evidence it happened earlier at the time that this group was lobbying these top Bush officials to sign off on this movement. It was really an acquisition of the existing port operator by Dubai Ports World, which is what Ben Sulayem was managing. And intimately involved in this is a guy that I was initially following and was a source of my article initially, which is Andrew Farkas, who's long been known as Andrew Cuomo's money man, as it were. And a lot has come out about his relationship with Epstein as well, but he's been a frequent business partner of this guy.
Abercrombie,
connected him,
are they making cookies?
With Trump, for example, because with a DP World affiliated real estate firm, Trump did a lot of his Dubai-based and UAE-based building, including on the Palm Islands, which this guy ultimately controlled. And it gets crazier than that, if you can believe it. For example, Farkas has intimate ties to the missing HUD money that Catherine Austin Fitts has talked about at length for decades. It's pretty much provable that he was involved in siphoning a lot of it off, and then gets intimately involved with this particular network, including Epstein, who was a known money launderer for the Iran-Contra crowd. And this, shadow government of sorts. And then, as we know from the later releases, these were, they were very involved with Epstein's activities at the Virgin Islands. The Sheik helped him purchase his island when he normally wouldn't have been able to. This team of him and Farkas intimately involved in USVI stuff, even beyond Epstein, co-owned a marina with Epstein that he needed to control in order to traffic girls to and from his island. And also, as I'll be reporting, a very disturbing proprietary telecom system that wouldn't have been accessible to anyone but them. So there's a lot of very disturbing things going on there. And I would add, too, that Andrew Farkas was listed as a reference by Jeffrey Epstein for one of his USVI companies, along with Jess Daly, which was apparently the jumping off point to investigate Jess Daly as part of this now settled court case between the USVI and JP Morgan. But if they went after Jess Daly for that, why didn't they go after Farkas when he was, listed in the same spot? Yeah. And I would argue it's because he is way too close. Farkas is way too close to top very high-ranking figures in the Trump administration that are intimately involved in Middle Eastern affairs.
Proud. When you look at, let's say what she's saying is correct, right? You step back and look at it, it's like, oh my God, this is straight up. Like Epstein's a wise guy, like a higher up though, like a capo or something. He's like, it's like a straight up like some gangster movie mafia sounding shit, to where the girls would almost be like a side hustle. And yeah, you do more dirt with the girls as well. Like you try to he has his own sexual proclivities, but he also can videotape someone, right, and get some dirt on them. Like, yo, do what the fuck I want, or you're done with, right? It screams some mafia style shit, bro. But the thing is, the actual people doing these things, they don't actually have to do. Don't they have it? They have so much money. In The Godfather, right? Isn't Michael Corleone trying his best to become legit, run legit businesses so that he doesn't have to do stupid shit anymore, right? Almost get away from the gangster life and just hey, we have casinos, we have businesses, we have the hotels. We don't need to do the gangster shit anymore. We're good. But it's the way the emails read, it's yeah, you guys have all this shit and you're doing extra. You're adding, you want to do more dirt. It could be the thrill of it, maybe. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, that's a idea For me, at least, when I'm observing this stuff, like, is that possible? Is that where we're at with this? Right? Like, you've heard of like gangsters that fucking pimp girls out on this as like a side hustle. You know what I'm saying? Right? But this is like to a different scale, but it's still like with different resources, but it's still like it's like some mafia shit. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have a question for you. Matt Hunter does, and it's not important. Let's put it that way.
After here to dominate, YellBro. Yeah, one. See, look. Fuck.
You ready for it, or you want to skip it?
Go ahead, but I might move on from it. But go ahead, ask it.
Will you ask YellBro why she is not mocking the physical appearance of Webb the same way the same way he mocks the physical appearance of Nick Fuentes, Tim Pool, etc.?
She's hot. There's your answer. All right. Hot nerd. You have to be able to like read nerd from model to trad wife to right. You got like listen. You gotta read these things. You're gonna be a perv. You gotta read these things. If you can't read them, you're probably a gay man and don't know it. Sorry, Matt. All right. Let's continue. Here we go.
Right. Jeez.
Maybe you can unpack that piece a little bit more, the Middle Eastern affairs piece, as we barrel towards war with Iran, probably on March 1st, according to sources we've been speaking
Jared Kushner.
to. Jared Kushner buying up, Gaza, and then the Israeli piece. I know people.
We're probably going to go over that.
You to speak for yourself. People have conflated. I mean, what you have said about Israel and the Mossad connections and CIA, and people like Whitney Webb says he's a Mossad agent, and you have to come out and correct people on that. So now that we hear about the Israeli connections in the apartment, the security system, and all of that, what can you say about the Middle Eastern Israeli connections with Epstein now?
And that are still inside the Trump White House that you just said. That's fascinating.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah. So, regarding Andrew Farkas, the main connection, the closest connection there, he's obviously close with Trump himself, but also he's very intimately involved with the Kushner family. And a lot of the money behind Kushner family real estate deals actually traces back to Andrew Farkas, not the Kushners themselves. So people have argued that Kushner has an outsized influence on the Trump administration. So if true, I doubt any meaningful pursuit of Andrew Farkas would happen, even though he was involved in the infrastructure for the trafficking itself, among other things. And as far as Epstein's role to the Middle East in general, so it depends on what Middle Eastern country you're talking about. There's obviously the UAE ties and his involvement with Saudi Arabia, specifically Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince. He was involved in advising their sovereign wealth funds, apparently of both countries. His ties to the Saudis allegedly go back to the 1980s or so. If you may remember, he was found one of his residents that was raided, because not all of them were, contained an Austrian passport that had a lot of stamps for Saudi Arabia and listed Saudi Arabia as an address. Actually, this ties in kind of to the Prince Andrew story a little bit, because in this period of time, Epstein was allegedly the mentee of an arms dealer named Douglas Leese, who was leading the representation of the UK's BAE systems and creating, which would later win the Al Yamaha deal, which is the basis for UK-Saudi military relationship. And it was a hugely significant arms deal for Britain and BAE systems. And actually, Prince Andrew, in that role as a trade representative, would later step in to prevent investigating the legality of aspects of that deal, and was also a big, salesperson globally for weapons, for BAE systems particularly, which again is significant in that it ties back directly to, Epstein's own mentor in arms smuggling. And bin Salman himself, when he first came out, it was a big charm offensive, right? But then he started promoting like this post-oil vision for Saudi Arabia, and a lot of the things he was promoting openly involved things that were funded by Epstein. You may remember, for example, he gave Sophia the robot citizenship in part of, and that robot was funded with Epstein money in part, and the people involved there did that. So, and they've reported, since 2019, but I think the photographs are now available, that Epstein had pictures with prominent people from, the Gulf countries, including Mohammed bin Salman, including Emirati sheiks. And another thing to note there, as far as the UAE ties go, is that Epstein had a relationship with the bank BCCI in the 1980s, and potentially up until it collapsed with 1991, which was very important to this network in which he operated. And BCCI was investigated to an extent, not as fully as I would have liked, by the U.S. Senate. And there's a U.S. Senate report on BCCI you can read. And if you go to the end and sort of the appendix, they leave as an uninvestigated lead the fact that this bank, which was basically a CIA shadow bank, was running a sex trafficking operation very similar in terms of how it functioned to what Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were doing. But in the Senate report itself, it says that these mainly girls, many of them were prepubescent girls, were being basically pimped out to Emirati sheiks, and some of them would return with extreme bodily injuries from the encounter.
What is that?
Please go read that yourself, because these are family lines, the way this stuff operates in the UAE. So it's very possible that this sheik that Epstein got involved with later is like the son of, or maybe even one of the people that engaged in that kind of activity with BCCI. It was never investigated. So again,
see, like, I don't want to hear from these fucks and say we're weird for not being into something like that. Like, they may be like, "Oh, you're just lower intelligence. You don't understand things like that." Like, look what you're engaging in, bro. The fuck? These people are.
What's
fucking
a sheik
stupid.
again? What's a sheik again? Is that Saudi Arabia's hierarchy?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know the fucking labels for these fucking guys. I know MBS was in the fucking files too, and Epstein uses money and connects to get access to that guy and actually be a part of Saudi Arabian foreign policy.
I think a sheik is just like I think a sheik is just like a lord, like in England. You know how they have like lords.
Okay, like a lord or a duke or some shit like that. Got it.
Yeah, something like that.
Fair enough. But either way, Epstein had access to the highest up guy, right? Or soon to be highest up guy, I think, at the time, right?
Oh, Dubai, UAE.
No, but also Saudi Arabia.
That's third. But yeah, it does say also Saud's. No, it's not used by the Sauds. It's used by the people of Dubai, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait.
Okay.
Prince is what they'll call themselves in the Saud world, Saudi Arabia.
Well, we have the Sultan Al Said, if I got his name correct. The one saying, "Yeah, I think Epstein saying I love the torture video" in response to him. We have like that guy who I believe is Dubai based with his DP World.
No, I got it. Like, Saudi Arabia does have a play in this, but I was wondering who he was talking about when they were saying sheik. That means it had to be a person in Dubai, Bahrain, Qatar, or Kuwait.
Yeah, but this whole like
I'm not denying that they have Saudi Arabia connection. No, I was just asking what they were talking about right there.
Yeah, but I was just assuming if you have higher ups of Saudi Arabia, then Dubai is no problem, I think. But
probably
with the BCCI thing, I'm like, once again, I'm like, people would consider if no one knew about any of this information, right? They'd look at those guys and say they're the smart ones. They figured life out. I'm like, I think they're the dumbest amongst us. They're actually the dumbest. And they probably look at us weird for not like, why don't you fucking engage in this stuff? Weird, creepy, sexual stuff. The world's your fucking oyster. Like, if I ruled the world, there is no thing where I'm like, I need some fucking 12-year-old girls, bro. I need some of them. There's no fucking thing like that. So why is there a consistent? Once again, I'm not trying to say everyone's engaging in that shit. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, but there does seem to be enough when it comes like by percentage, enough where it's like, what the fuck? What is it about that? What is it? I always run back to psychology.
It's historical. It's not even just present day. No, I'm saying there's historical evidence to them doing it throughout history as well. This pedophilic level of things.
Is it like the Eric Weinstein thing where they're like maybe filtering out? Like the story where he's like, man, I didn't feel comfortable here, so thus he left or didn't get engaged with the Epstein guy. Maybe it was like, hey, let's sniff out this guy. Is he one of us? And it's like, well, what does one of us mean? In that scenario, I'm like hypothetically saying, as a possibility, like, isn't that like fucking crazy? Like, is that the barometer? Is that the, hey, if we can get you caught on this, you're done with. But like, what would get you to get caught in that in the first place? We're not talking about things where it's like, oh my God, I'm sitting in a hotel room waiting for, this hot woman I ordered online to show up at my room, and then like a kid shows up. They push the kid into the room to start taking pictures, right? This sounds like actually engaging with it. Like, yeah, I'm into this. Let's go with it. I'm saying like on the surface, like that's a story. So it's like, what is that? What is that?
It's a barrier.
I am wrecked.
My idea has always been is like there's a threshold of success. To cross this threshold of success requires you to be included into the crowd. To be included into the crowd, or not like the population crowd, but their crowd, the crowd of power. You have to like bend the knee, and this might be part of bending the knee. Like it might be a barrier that they have.
It's Angel. Literally the TV show Angel. That's the ending of the TV show Angel. We have to pretend to be one of them to enter the Blackthorn Circle. We have to like murder the innocent or something like that.
Okay.
Right, to be amongst them.
I didn't.
God damn, what a fucking ahead of its time.
You mean like the whole last season of Angel, where he's now the owner of the law firm?
Yes.
Okay.
He wants to find out the members of the Circle the Blackthorn, right? So he has to like kill someone noble and innocent to join their group and then point out faces. Like, okay, these are the problems right here. We're gonna get rid of these guys. And they, I guess, take them out or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, it's like that. I don't know, man. Like, once again, it's the lamest amongst us. These are the lamest people on earth. If this is true, if that's that little story I just gave you guys, if that's a real thing, and that's what's really going on, it's like these are the lamest people on earth. Don't be in awe of yachts and gold chains and fucking pretty girls in bikinis. Don't be in awe of that. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to like really existing in the world, like really being there in the world. They're not smarter. They're not better. I'm sorry. These guys are fucking losers. Losers. If that's the case, bro, they're fucking losers. We need to start treating them that way. Like, oh, you have a mental illness. Oh my God, we need to help you, man. That should be the mentality. You guys are sick. We need to help you out. You are that helpless on this planet Earth. You are that helpless. We need to help you. In my opinion, that's the way it should be taken. Instead of like, oh my God, look, they're so devious and evil and genius and they're not. These are losers. They need help. They need fucking help. In my humble opinion, but I'm sure people would most likely grab their pitchforks instead of that. But all right, let's play. Let's play a little bit more. Because I think we're getting her points. I mean, she's doing, detailed shit, which is not my cup of tea personally, but I get it. Here we go.
This stuff needs to be very properly investigated, and there's been a pattern of cover-up for a long time. Who covered up BCCI in 1991? It was then Attorney General William Barr, who came back in the first Trump administration when Epstein was offed.
Yeah.
Covering stuff up again.
Right. Okay, where should we go? So
we can get into Israel now if you want. Sorry,
well,
I just felt like
yeah,
what people know about
but that's
Israel
a tangled web.
And the other stuff.
That is important. I think that's not unrelated because this drop site news revelation that Israel was, running security for the apartment that Epstein was in and Ehud Barak was there. It tells us unequivocally that there are foreign governments that have intelligence that our government does not. So we would never see things in our own justice.gov/Epstein, things that may be in the hands of Israel or Iran. Even Iran is saying, you know, we have some evidence of U.S. corruption too. We don't know what to make of that. What do you make of that?
Okay, she bungled that story up, but it'll help for the audience who may be captured by taglines and narratives. They might buy into that, but I think she fucked that one up. I believe the idea is like, once again, a person who's essentially was a president, although they have that role, president in Israel, but we'll say prime minister, right, which is kind of like a president, stayed at one of these apartments, and when he does, they have surveillance. That's the on-the-surface story, right? So it isn't just straight up, Israel just has cameras there because they want to, and it's just there 24/7. They have a on-the-surface excuse for why they're doing what they're doing, right? And then the idea of them what was the second part of that? Jeez. I'm sorry.
That Israel has evidence of this stuff.
Okay.
That the America doesn't have evidence of this stuff. Like what's going on in these apartments while Barack is there.
Exactly. Actually, there's something else I thought I was going to... Let me say.
The apartment that Epstein was in and Ehud Barak was there. It tells us unequivocally that there are foreign governments that have intelligence that our government does not. So we would never see things in our own justice.gov/Epstein, things that may be in the hands of Israel or Iran. Even Iran is saying, you know, we have some evidence of U.S. corruption.
Why
We
Iran?
don't know what to make of that. What do you make of that?
She didn't add the context of the idea is like Iran hacked certain files from Israel. I think U.S. too. I think they, once again, they have the internet, right? They can get access to these files. Some rinky dink on the fucking internet found ways to get around redactions and shit like that. So guess what? Of course, their top intel, cyber security intel guys can fucking get access to maybe a little bit more than the regular public can. So that needs to be added
I've also
in
seen
context. But yeah, go ahead.
I've seen claims on Twitter saying, yeah, we're not finding this on Trump in the American release of Epstein stuff, but we found it in the French release of the Epstein stuff. Because Jean-Luc Brunel is French, and his whole thing was his whole death case was handled in France, so why wouldn't there be some information on it? I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth to what they released.
There's more of that, but these guys are also,
on their side.
I'm sure there's more stuff that they have for their own personal inquiries, but like there was just the files that we got that were easily jailbroken, as far as I understand. Like I see like regular guys on like Twitter or TikTok jailbreaking kind of the files in a certain way. Imagine a intel service that's dedicated to that. Like that's their expertise. They're probably gonna, they can dig up more if they wanted to, and then tie it in connection with other files if they wanted to. If I had to guess, like their own files that they have in their own countries. But that depends on how willing they are to investigate. But all right, let's keep playing. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, if Israel has stuff, they're obviously not going to share it, but they have a history of doing this stuff, even to their own operatives. So as an example, like Robert Maxwell, he was filmed and Israel filmed him having sex with, a variety of women when he was in Israel domestically visiting for various purposes while he was working for Israeli intelligence. They kept files on their own. So if they do that to their own, I think the Epstein case shows that they definitely do that to other people as well. As I've noted in my work, this type of behavior in which Epstein engaged in is not anomalous. And a lot of governments have done this for a long time, particularly this network, which Epstein was involved in, which again, I've argued for a long time is transnational in scope, but involves, probably most closely the US, Israel, and then former Soviet bloc countries, as well as Russia. And a lot of that is thanks to people like Robert Maxwell and the people that he worked with to sort of tether that all together, if you will.
I have to reset because of lagging, but there's a movie called Tetris, which I think is on Apple. I think it's Apple TV where we saw this, right? Or where it's from. where Robert Maxwell is in the movie as a character, and the whole idea is about getting Tetris, trying to get Tetris out of Russia, for commercial use, right? Or something like that, right? Were you there when we were playing that, or not? Either way, it's like
I've seen the preview of the movie. It basically is that.
Yeah, and there's like, it showcases like through kind of a comic little filmy style thing of connection between Maxwell and fucking Russia. I guess Soviet Union at the time, right? And the creation of Tetris. Maybe people find that interesting, but I have to leave and come back real fast. God damn it! Imagine if I had a studio, I'd be killing shit right now. Anyways, here we go.
Ultimately, the goal was to globalize organized crime. I argue it's at this point defined itself into a cartel, and they're really calling the shots, as it were, with a lot of this stuff. So one of the ways that they've done that historically is through recording people and compromising positions. So obviously, I can refer you to my books because I unpack a lot of people in this network going back to the 1940s, engaging in that type of activity. But another thing I argue is that Epstein, the type of sex blackmail activity he was engaging in was is no longer needed to blackmail people. You can do all of that stuff digitally now, and I think it's no coincidence that I argue that Epstein told Ehud Barak to check out Palantir, which I argue in my book is really you don't need an Epstein blackmail style operation if you have Palantir operating. And there's a straight line, as I've noted in other past articles, from the Promise software scandal, which involved Israel, the CIA, this exact network, including Robert Maxwell, among other figures that pop up repeatedly in this story, all the way through Palantir's creation as a rebranding of the Bush era total information awareness.
How dirty?
Just want to point out, I believe there are actually AI videos of where it's like brand new Whitney Webb video, and it's like an AI version of her. And these guys are getting like thousands and thousands of views, just kind of content farming off of her face. And
dude, I'm seeing all kinds of new AI shit, dude.
Oh yeah, but these scream a little bit more nefarious because she speaks so much against that stuff, I guess, and yet they're making like AI versions of her, either AI versions or they're using old clips and saying this is a brand new video by Whitney Webb saying this or that. And she claims to have no like recourse in regards to YouTube into like allowing people to just do that. But I don't know. I didn't look too hard into it. I just saw her claim and saw some of the thumbnails, and I've seen them around. I'll be honest, like, I've been recommended some videos like, oh, I guess Whitney Webb is a new thing, but I didn't care to watch. I'm not gonna lie. No offense to Whitney Webb. I'm like, all right. Cool. But as far as I know, this is the most, like, for a while now, the most recent interview she's done, outside of her own, I guess, content, right? Or her own website. So I was like, okay. That'd be crazy if they're making, like, AI videos of this lady. Maybe saying, like, maybe it's, like, very similar, but they add in, like, yeah, and it's the Jewish cabal that's doing everything. Like, just add it in there, like, in the middle of the video. It's like, I didn't say that. The fuck? Or something she would not accredit to herself. All of a sudden, some AI machine saying it. I'm just saying, but all right. Here we go.
Program.
How dirty is Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, and their connections with Epstein in all of this?
Well, Thiel's a sweater, too. He sweats a lot.
I'm obviously no friend of Peter Thiel. I've been very critical of him for some time. Back in 2019, I reported about his co-investment with Jeffrey Epstein in Carbine, previously Reporty, which was headed up by Ehud Barak, and he chaired the board, but they have since rebranded after the initial Epstein story. But that has not stopped them from taking over a litany of U.S. 911 emergency call systems, which they now control, and they're run by IDF people, even though they put a few token Americans on their board. It's still an IDF project, arguably a front company if you look at the other types of companies that Ehud Barak was creating with Israeli intelligence veterans in the same period that he created Reporting Now Carbine. Peter Thiel, now we have over the past year, fresh documentation showing Thiel and Epstein's direct involvement in making those investments happen. But Carbine is a direct way to create this type of surveillance system in which Palantir also excels. It no longer says this on its website, but when I reported on them, they had a functionality on their program where if you're calling 911 within a district controlled by this company, they can harvest any and all data off of your smartphone if you use one, and basically create a pre-crime system determining if you or someone near you will call 911 and commit a crime at some point in the future. And again, Palantir is built around and was always envisioned to have this same pre-crime functionality, and has developed obvious and very clear ties to the state of Israel, potentially given this new audio release that may have been forged by Epstein himself, which is certainly of great concern. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But Peter Thiel has been asked about his relationship with Epstein several times. He is a liar. And a lot of these people, I should point out, that have denied their closeness to Epstein.
There we go. That's what I want to fucking hear. I get information. Like, I want to hear character shit. Here we go. Sorry.
Of great concern. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But Peter Thiel has been asked about his relationship with Epstein several times. He is a liar. And a lot of these people, I should point out, that have denied their closeness to Epstein, including figures in big tech like Elon Musk or Ehud Barak himself, or really any of these people, or Wexner, who we started with, they deny, and then proof comes out, even though what's been released is estimated to be 2% of all of what the U.S. government has on Epstein, 2%. And we know how many of these people are liars. Why are we believing them at their depositions when they're asked these softball questions and they're just like, I didn't know anything bad was happening? Why are we believing them? It's crazy.
Being a nerd.
So anyway, sorry, I got a little off track there.
Well, that's why I'm not looking forward to the Clinton's deposition, because how hard is it to just play dumb? That's what politicians do.
They're great at it.
That's what to expect. There's even an email in the, Epstein's like, oh, I have to give $1 million to the Clintons. Okay, I'll do it. What is this for again? He doesn't even know, right? And Hillary Clinton is out front saying, no, there's a lot of people involved. So can you discuss what you expect from the Clintons and, what we know about the Clintons that is not being discussed by the media?
Also, thank God that she did that. That's a good sign to me. Or it's like, yeah. First of all, the reason why these fools get away with it is because we don't fucking do anything about it, bro. It is not about like, get out, grab your fucking pitchfork or your sign and say, no more of this. Like, I don't mean that. I mean, like, we looked the other way. That's why shitty things, like, that's why creeps can just walk up the fucking alleyway and do nothing and get away with certain weird shit. You look the other way. That's why that shit happens. There's a string, I mean, it has to be like millions, right? Of regular people where these guys do something where it like looks off and they don't say anything about it. They just like, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, it must be normal. Oh, okay, cool. Right? Or whatever. It's like, from employees to people on the fucking streets. Whatever. Or something weird happens and they just like, oh, okay, whatever. Right? At the same time, it's like, I am happy that she said that, where it's like, yeah, this guy's a fucking liar. Let's get to the real fucking bit. This guy's lying. I understand getting tricked by liars, right? Because they're lying, obviously. But it's like, it's to me good to hear from misinformation, mis computer catalog, data. Say like, well, this guy's a fucking liar. Like straight up, like that's the case. They said this. We found more evidence. They're fucking lying, or they were lying. That's what I appreciate in that moment right there. I want to hear more of that, along with the data points. I get that. But like, come on, let's get to the crux of it. That's where the actual problem is. That's describing like the events that happen, right? The data stuff. But like, here's the character assessment that is absolutely necessary. That when a guy has a business suit on, or he owns a yacht or an island, or he's filthy rich, does not mean he's a good fucking person at all. I'm just saying. And they may have gotten there by lying in the first place. But all right.
The pre-crime things that she's talking about, they basically score people.
The China social
we
score.
really ask for these things. Like, well, they score people. There's social scores, but there's also like what you're saying, like the likelihood somebody's going to commit a crime, the likelihood, like these are just statistics, percentages. They're just pull up a bunch of data and they're basically guessing to the best of the ability of the data. And what that
Yeah, there's no real
and
assessment. I know.
yeah, and what gets to me is how we kind of inadvertently cheer these things on and we ask for it. We really ask for it. And one of the examples of this is like, you know how we were saying, like, you know, they actually go into whole buildings and raid them without warrants and you know, like, how are they doing this, right? Like, what mechanisms, like, are they hidden every house? No, they're using this Palantir software and using these scores to determine, okay, we're gonna check on this building, check on that building for illegal, you know, like immigrants, and so
Yeah.
these are the tools they're using. So they use it for this reason that they can get you to like agree on, yeah, fuck their rights, yeah, it doesn't matter, it's whatever,
They prey off
and
the
then
ignorance. Yeah.
and then it's used all over the government, and then they use it on you next. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, they prey off the ignorance of dummies playing politics. Oh my god, where's my goddamn deportations at? Damn it! And they use all this weird shit that he also claims to be against, right? Palantir, facial recognition, all that stuff. Beating the shit out of American citizens, killing them in certain cases. Right? But where's my goddamn deportation numbers? Right? So it's like, doesn't make sense the way you're behaving there. There's no actual assessment of what is the fucking problem? And more and more of those idiots drive in a certain direction, they'll get the political guys on the other side to start reacting to that. So that they feel more justified in their stances, and then it becomes no one actually goes at the problem itself. Like, what is the actual problem? Not even going to be attempted, because it's just a matter of fact. It's a fact of reality. Like, you can't fix it. There's no fixing this. It'll always be here. It is what it is. So thus, we need to move to the next step, which is enforcing law against this or whatever. You need to skip assessment, diagnosis, and looking for solutions and go right to enforcement. Straight up. What do we forcefully stop or allow? What is that? And it's like, yo, you skipped the. What's our point then? You don't look at like how it gets here. Maybe there's a point. Maybe there's a certain chemical in the water that gets people to act a certain way. If you're not looking for that, like, what are we doing? How do you know? Is it once you get rich, you become corrupt? Is that the case? Is it if you suffer a trauma, you'll take your traumas out on someone else? Is that a rule of reality? Is that the law? Or maybe certain individuals behave that way. But if you skip all that and go strictly to the law book, it's fucked. You're not getting anywhere. You're not getting any fucking where. And in fact, you're just slowly creating a new problem. But don't worry, you'll feel good about it because, you know, when there's a problem, when someone's like in the process of doing something that's a problem, right? In their minds, like, no, it's not a problem. This is okay. Without realizing. So they get the kind of the ignorance of the bliss of the ignorance of it, of their actions. Instead of like, but either way, like, I want to hear that from Whitney Webb. I want to hear shit like that. Let's go right to the crux of it. This guy said this. We found evidence. He's lying. He's a fucking liar. I don't care if he goes to jail or not, whatever. We know, like, you're caught here lying. That is straight up the case. That needs to be pointed out a lot more. Got the Michael Tracy. I think that guy's a fucking liar. Or at least a deception artist. What's it play? Let's hear about the Clintons, I guess. Here we go. Fuck.
Yeah, so I think we can expect similar stuff to what Wexner did with the Clinton deposition. I doubt it will go too deep. Again, and I think, as has been the media coverage of Clinton this entire
there's your IQ
time,
test,
it will
Democrat
only focus
favoring
on
people.
Clinton after he left the office of U.S. president. It will not focus on anything before then, even though Jeffrey Epstein went to the Clinton White House 17 times, and maybe more, because there is also the case where a lot of Clinton White House visitor logs have obviously fake names on them to cover up the identities of the people who were coming and going. I'm sorry, but 15 visits to the Clinton White House by Donald Duck, I don't really think that was Donald Duck in the same period, you know? So it could potentially be more.
Downtown.
No, I mean, that's literally a real
Downtown
thing.
Johnny Brown.
So it could potentially be more, but that's 17 confirmed visits we know about. Every time he went, he had a different woman on his arm, and they were of age, though. I should point that out. But,
Irrelevant.
you know, this is what Epstein learned from his weapons dealer friends in the 1980s. People like Adnan Khashoggi, for example, who on his yacht would have a harem of women, it was called, basically butter up top corporate CEOs and government officials so that he could, you know, grease the wheels for his arms deals and his business. Epstein was really no different, just he was running more businesses than arguably Khashoggi was for a different set of employers, and some of the same employers as well when you count Israeli intelligence and the CIA in the mix. So again, there's going to be no scrutiny of these 1990s ties or these visits. A big reason why is the man that Epstein was meeting most of those times, Mark Middleton, because Mark Middleton was central to this aforementioned Chinagate scandal involving Southern Air Transport. He, when he was questioned in his role in Chinagate, pled the fifth 22 times, and then Clinton left office, 9/11 happened, and no one ever investigated Chinagate again. Even though it was basically well, I would argue one of the reasons for that is that it intimately, even though it's called Chinagate, it intimately involved Israel basically selling sensitive U.S. military technology using this Iran-Contra network to the Chinese military. Obviously, an outrageous scandal for U.S. national security, but that shows you how influential this network is, and how
Losers.
you know, a lot of stuff about a China. Let's give up all our rights for a Chinese arms race with AI is a complete bullcrap narrative, among other things. But basically, Mark Middleton is, you know, we know that Epstein it ended up dead in a prison cell. We know Jean-Luc Brunel ended up dead in a prison cell. The same year that Jean-Luc Brunel died in a prison cell, Mark Middleton died extremely suspiciously, even for other members of the Clinton kill list, as it's called. He allegedly wrapped around his neck an extension cord, hung himself, and then managed to shoot himself with a shotgun in the chest that was discovered 30 feet away, even though investigators initially said there was no weapon at the scene. And then immediately after, a judge sealed all photographic and other evidence of the crime so it would never be released to stop the spread of harmful conspiracy theories.
Right, a gun that's 30
you
feet
ask
away.
the Clintons about Mark Middleton, you will see how insane this all is, and they will not go there, because obviously if they did, it would probably implicate Leslie Wexner, as well as a lot of other people in this network that have sold out U.S. national security, you know, to ostensible adversaries for decades.
What
With
about
Israel's direct involvement, our supposed greatest ally. And one of the reasons this was happening is that arguably the most influential billionaire manipulating Israel's security complex apparatus in that period was a billionaire named Shaul Eisenberg that had a lot of ties to the Chinese government, and it brokered their ties to Israel's national security state in the late 70s, and helped bring Robert Maxwell, among other people, to Mossad. He was a major operator. And so, you know, there's no real scrutiny of that relationship. But I would argue this goes even further. This goes to something that Samuel Pisar, Robert Maxwell's longtime confidant and lawyer, and a co-conspirator in some of these things I'm talking about, openly told Congress in the early 70s that what was happening was the end of the relevance of the nation state and the rise of what he called the trans-ideological corporation, where multinational Western corporations were getting
Nice.
business with state-owned corporations in China and Russia, the communist bloc, basically. And we're building a network, an economic network that would supersede
Oh my God, he's here.
national governments around the world.
He is here.
Basically take over the world.
Oh, he left.
And he was asked by Congress if this was bad, and he was like, not really. And he said this in the early 70s. And he, along with people like the heads of IBM, people from PepsiCo, people from some of the biggest corporations in the United States, openly created committees to make this happen.
Gosh.
And he
Oh, she's still gone?
probably
Jesus Christ.
had
All right.
intelligence ties. He represented Steve Jobs for Apple, and Steve Jobs was like, I don't know if he works for the CIA or the KGB. Probably both, because if you look at Robert Maxwell, you know, he was definitely involved with you know, the KGB, among other things. He worked with KGB officers to spirit gold out of the Soviet Union, and a lot of these guys were involved in capital flight from Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union. They funneled a lot of it to Israel, where they helped get and install, you know, Russian mobsters like Simeon Mogilevich, get them Israeli
Maybe
passports
Whitney's
so they
AI.
could
Jesus
penetrate the
Christ.
US financial system.
Longest
And our current
sentence
president
ever.
had involvement with some of those characters through his real estate deals and helped
Well,
them
it's
launder
not
money.
necessary.
So I don't really
What-
think
what she's
we're
associating
going to see meaningful prosecution
isn't
of these
necessary.
of these groups with the
Oh, it definitely
current
is.
crowd that's in charge.
No, hold on.
Before we move,
Once you're in the crowd, you're in the group or whatever. If the problem is in Israel, you pick up the phone and say, give me the Israel guy. If the problem's in somewhere in Africa, let's just say Nigeria, say, give me the Nigeria guy. I got, like, whoever's interest you choose to be representing. Is it Israel today? Are you representing America today? Are you representing Russia today? All you're doing is picking up a phone and let me talk to the fucking Nigerian guy. Let me talk to the Russian guy. Let me talk to the Kenya guy. Let me talk to the Colombian guy. It doesn't matter if you're in this power fucking thing, whether it's CIA, KGB, like, if you're part of it, you're like you're just part of all of it.
Say Whitney. Now, and once again, she said a lot of shit there. Can I say whether she's correct or incorrect about the information she has there? I don't fucking know at this point. It's not what I do. It's not my thinking. That's not the way I look at things. But in regards to you, Dubster, she is the antidote to your type of thinking. See, you do like kind of matter-of-fact simpleness, and she will have 10 billion chapters to feed you to let you know, like, hey, your answer's incomplete. She's there for, like, that's why you're not, like, on my scale of things. I do something different, where, like, I would want to be, if there's
the common claim
if there was
for Maxwell is 5 agencies.
Okay, got it. If there's a congressional hearing, right, I would want to go in first, pause, to ask questions, because I want to find out if they're a fucking liar first. I want to hear that. Like, here's some simple shit, simple questions. No trickery, no special lawyer shit. Here are just some simple questions. Let's find out if you're honest or not. After that, here comes the fucking information person to come in and rattle off information like, okay, where were you on this day? Because we have this day, right? What happened when you did this? Yada, yada, yada. Is this true? If they say, like, no, that's not true. Like, well, we already established that. You might be dishonest or you might lie about things, right? But for you, Dubster, she's like a counter to your shit. The scale you try to go on, which is not my scale, which is what you miss out on so often. You guys are on the same scale. It's just she, at least, like, I don't know if she's correct or not, but she seems to add quite a bit more information to what she's saying to justify her positions versus your matter of fact.
She's fresh on the top. She's fresh on the topic. She's in looking at all the new current Epstein stuff. I'm not. She's digging through all that and everybody that's talking about it. I'm not. So yeah, she has a more fresh mind on the details.
Those details are not from the Epstein files. Those are from her own. I'm pretty sure from her books and the work she's done.
I used to have all the freshness of these topics. I haven't looked at it. I didn't ever write anything down. She's keeping her own records.
Is there anything?
Sure.
Come on, man. Just be honest, man. See, that's why
I just was, you dumbass.
This is Jordan coming in to be like to ask you like to find out if you're being honest or not. You're telling me
I am being honest.
Telling me,
Why the fuck would I just say that if I wasn't being honest.
You're telling me you can look at a topic and rattle off information like this woman can?
It was all fucking public for a fucking decade. What are you talking about?
You're telling me you can
She's
rattle
got
off
the same
information like
books
she
that
can?
we have.
Okay.
She's not actually fucking like writing anything that's fucking new. She's just
Not the point.
researching what everyone. She researched what everybody had access to.
And she remembered quite a bit more than I think you would.
She
Or
took
I would,
notes.
honestly. Okay. Are you mad that she can do that?
No.
So she can rattle off information better than you can, and remember more of it, and actually keep it in context
I just
too.
told you she's fresh on it and she's fucking kept notes the whole time. I didn't keep notes. When I was actually digging into this stuff, I could fucking do this without keeping the notes. I have not had the time to do that, like at the level I was doing it.
Some
Like
planet Earth.
11 hours a day. I like researching 11 hours a day kind of shit.
Planet Earth.
I'm not
This is
doing
why you
that
bring Jordan
currently.
in first. Why you bring me in first, or my type of thinker first. To find
What are
out,
you
hey,
fucking
get the
talking about,
elements.
dude?
Dude, I've never heard you rattle off information ever. Like, I mean, like,
Dude, I fucking was.
I've never heard that from you ever.
I knew. Whatever, dude. You go ahead and fucking claim that all you want. I'm not worried about it.
I'm
I
just
don't do it
saying.
anymore. I don't need to fucking do it anymore. I don't have the time to do it anymore.
Okay, got it. I'm just saying, like, she's on your same scale of like what you guys are trying to achieve. She just does it a lot
Dude,
better. And
she
you
kept
use matter
notes
of factness
and
and ideology. I think
and
you use a lot more
she's
matter of
trying
factness than ideology.
she's trying to make videos out of it to make it seem like she was relevant, while everybody had the same fucking shit to look at that she did. What
Okay.
do you do?
Oh, all right. Well, go fight that battle, Dubster. Anyways, like,
It's not even a fucking
archetypal.
battle. You're trying to make it a battle.
My bad. I'm just saying, like, your guys' style is in the same category. It's just, I think you suck at it. That's all I was saying. I'm not in that category.
Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here on YouTube. Anyways, it's just different archetypal things where it's like, but I like the thing she said before, like, I want that to be the first questions. When it comes like Michael Tracy, right? I want to like, let's go through some simple thought experiments and simple ideas and see what you think about it to find out like a base level, like where you're at. And we might find out if we might find out if you're lying or not, if you're being a dishonest little cunt. We might be able to find that out just by talking to you normally and doing thought experiments. Or if you're fucking like, I mean, extremely like, there's nothing wrong with being emotionally attached, but to where it's like, you don't balance your, analytical with your emotional too well. And thus, you just kind of fire off shit because you want to maybe win something. I don't know. For Michael, I don't know what Michael Tracy's deal is. I don't know if he actually did something weird sexually or if he is just like, oh no, she's not smart. I'm smart. Actually, Dubster, you sounded like Michael Tracy right there. Just a little bit. It's like possibly right there. But like that's what he sounds like when he's talking about Whitney Webb. Like, oh, she's some sort of authority. No, she's not. Like you almost sound like Michael Tracy. Funny enough. But like, right where Michael Tracy like, but you'd rather have someone like ask simple questions to be like, okay, now we're gonna proceed to the next level where someone just drowns you with information in counterpoints to what you're saying is information. But I want to find out they're liars first. That's all I'm saying. Do I keep playing? I guess we keep playing for a little bit at least. But like this stuff, it's too much. I don't know what to fucking entangle with intellectually other than what I believe the way to go about things, right? When I hear my language being spoken, I'm like, okay, that one right there, I love that. But the other stuff, I can't corroborate. I don't fucking know. I didn't read her books. I don't plan on reading her books. I'm not here for information. I'm here for something different. Personally, and it's not a slight against people that do engage in that. I'm just saying that's not my motive or where I come from. Not my right. Son.
So here's the difference you're not grasping.
Okay.
I was researching as a researcher for my own.
You don't have to do this stuff, sir. We can move on.
I was researching as a researcher for my own personal knowledge, not
to influence others to agree with me, like Whitney Webb does for a living. I was researching for my own knowledge. I wasn't trying to convince anyone. I wasn't talking to anybody about this stuff. I would sit in the library for hours and scroll information.
You applied motive.
Seek it out.
Really talking about motive, like explaining how you know that's the case, motive-wise. But you assign motive anyways. Which is Jordan's. That's Jordan's world. So please explain to me.
Oh, because I understand my motive and I understand her motive in the simple fact that she has someone she's talking to about it in the sense of trying to get notoriety for it in a way. I wasn't when I was doing the research.
Okay. In a way, trying to get notoriety for it, but okay. What does that mean?
Is she not? Does she not go on podcasts and do all this stuff and been doing it for all the time that I wasn't doing that? I just talked to you. I'm not fucking trying to fucking get notoriety from this. You're the one that wants to get the notoriety for this.
I think she's like trying to say like her thesis out loud, like what she believes is the case. I don't see why that's a problem that you want other people to hear it. Just the way you're talking to me, maybe she wants whatever. Maybe she wants anyone to hear what she's saying.
There's a huge distinction in the idea of putting on it.
Maybe you have an audience of one versus her. Is that the difference?
Putting on what you research and in any way not just copying it and handing it over to someone else.
So she's copying
but actually trying.
Yeah.
Man, you are not listening to what I'm saying, dude. You already lost in what I'm even fucking trying to say to you.
No, I didn't go anywhere. I'm watching you dance around quite a bit, but I didn't go anywhere. I'm sitting right here.
When I research stuff, all I did was link you to it. If you want to read it, you can read it yourself. What she does is she writes an article to summarize it, to change it, to her interpretation into it.
You're saying she's dishonest then, right?
No, I'm saying she's interpreting it. Like that is what her job requires her to do.
And
it wasn't a fucking job for me. When I researched, it was not a job. I didn't care that anybody else understood what I was researching.
You didn't get paid for it, but you didn't have an interpretation of it?
I was not trying to pass my interpretation onto anyone else.
I think you were, though. Are you saying you're not trying to convince anyone?
I did not know you when I fucking was researching like this. And then I knew you and was still researching like this. And I was trying to just talk to you about it. So at that level, yes, I am interpreting. But for the longest time, I was just sitting there silently researching for myself stuff. I didn't need to talk to anybody about anything about what I'm researching. I'm just fucking trying to find the information. So there's no interpretation but mine from what I'm reading.
So Whitney Webb was recording herself, researching things for an audience.
Working to translate, if you don't like the word interpret, to another person.
So she was sitting around, quietly studying with no one seeing her, to one day present what she found. And how are you guys different? How are you guys different again?
I just fucking told you, dude.
You did studying quietly, then you start bringing it up when you're around people, right? Or if the topic comes up, right? Or if someone asked you, right? What's your difference?
I'm not, in any sense, during this time period, I'm picturing in my head, trying to influence in any direction what I'm reading to another person. Or manipulate.
No, but when you talk about it.
You're brave enough to go down that word.
No, but when it's time to talk about it, you do have your own sense of like, I'm correct about this. This is the way to read this. Unless you're going to lie to me and say you've never done that before. Maybe you studied quietly, right? You studied some research quietly. Then you started talking to people. And in my experience of you talking to people, You're not trying to be convincing of your point of view?
I get that she's being
Don't you
convincing.
lie to me. Don't you lie to me.
I'm just saying it's not the same thing when it's for the purpose of her job.
Listen, Planet Earth. This
It
is why
was
you bring
never
Jordan
a
in
job
first.
for me.
Or Jordan like thinkers. This is why this guy has to happen first. And then you get to the information. But it has to happen first.
Right. Let's say she comes across something that will ruin her audience liking her.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Does she change the influence?
Well, that's why you bring Jordan in. Ask those questions. Or people
She's
in
done
that same
that
mentality.
before.
I don't know. Remember the Glenn Beck interview where it's like maybe shielding the audience or Glenn Beck himself for the sake of having a nicer interview or to gain more of a following? Possibly. I don't think, no offense to you, I don't think you're in Jordan's category. I think you're trying to be in her category, which is my information is correct. And I think she just does it better than you.
Information being correct is something I focused on when I was doing the research. I was reading and seeing what I was reading and interpreting it for myself.
And you might tailor
Wasn't
it for who you're
passing on
talking
my
to, right?
interpretations.
And you might tailor the way you talk depending on who you're talking to, right? Or no?
For the longest time, I wasn't talking about this with anybody. I was just fucking learning it all on my own.
Yeah, but just like Whitney Webb, where she quietly studied things, you could say she regurgitated things, right? Which is fine. But she quietly studied first, and then she brought it to the public, right? Just like you did, right?
I'm not doing it for fucking cash, bro. I'm not doing it to
Now you're signing
where
motive
I
again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can handle that category. I don't think you can do that.
Once
shit,
there
bro.
is,
I think you struggle with that
once
stuff.
there is a monetary claim, it changes everything about your purpose.
And it's a bland, matter-of-fact statement, which is what I criticized you originally for doing.
Oh, then we disagree because that's what I believe right there.
Okay. All right, we're done with Dubster's therapy session. I think I end the video here. Once again, information stuff. This lady rattles shit off. She does. Seemingly, like, I mean, yeah, he rattles things off, and it's pretty clear about what she's saying in regards to information. Motives, that's a different story. But I'd love for her to start diving more into that. You know, say more about it.
And what I was trying
He's
to
still defending
say, and I
himself.
think
All right,
you
go ahead.
missed it.
And
I think you missed it is if I'm Robert Maxwell and I work for these 5 agencies, United Kingdoms, United States, Russia, Israel, and I forget what the 5th one is. It might be France or something. But if there's a problem in Uganda, I can still pick up the phone if I'm in this power circle and fucking call the Uganda guy that's equivocal to me, or not. I could call somebody in a different branch. Be like, look, this is who I am. Don't fuck with me. Here's what I want done. They could still fuck with them, but he could still be the guy that picks up that phone and makes that phone call.
No, I understood that. I'm just saying you're talking about like interconnectedness of people that have these type of social powers, right? I'm just saying she already said that in more detail. That was my thing that I thought was like kind of interesting to look at. That you're in the same kind of categories, but she's just better at it, in my opinion. That's what I was pointing out. Like you just said what she said in way less detail, basically. That make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Like I said, I have
maybe you missed what I was saying.
Like I used to be.
Okay, fair enough. I still don't think you can. I don't think you're quick of foot like that. You could be if you tried and developed it, but I don't think you're there like that.
You don't know what, I don't know what, if you've actually experienced like 15-hour fucking day, 11-hour days of just reading.
Maybe not reading, but information, yeah. But a different type of information, right? I'm doing more psychology, philosophy stuff. You're probably doing news headlines and political stuff and news stories or whatever the fuck, right?
Rabbit holes, man. Just fucking huge ass rabbit holes.
Pause.
And that's what she
but-
is. She's a rabbit hole hunter.
Yeah, for information.
That type of research.
Information, right? There's different types
Yes.
of intelligence out there besides newspaper clippings and shit like that. Which is why I appreciated her statements about, like, man, you're a liar. It's like, we caught you. Bald-faced lying. Get to the simple questions, you can get
Which is
the
a
category
deduction.
I'm looking at.
Which is a deduction. What she's putting together tells her that Peter Thiel is a liar.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to grill you after this. I'm going to be like a fucking psychiatrist. Have you on the couch here. Pause.
Deduction.
I have
Deduction.
Because you made this way too fascinating. You had like a prideful shrug right there. Like, no, I'm smart. I'm a smart.
Deduction.
I'm smart. But let that happen off recording, Dubster.
Hold on. Deduction.
Okay. Please tell
When
Daddy how
presented
much you
to-
understand deduction. Go ahead.
Deduction, once presented to another person, is influence.
Okay. Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it there. There's your video. You're free from the couch right now. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree or disagree. A lot said. There's, once again, a lot of factoid type stuff. I can't corroborate. I don't fucking know. I'll be honest with you. But, you know, in parallels with the videos, the clips I showed you before, and let's be real, the whole thing that, at the very least, should be questioned by these congressional committees of these characters. That should be the very least that you take away from this. If you're like my type of thinking, that should be obvious, right? Clearly, they're not investigating. Clearly. I think that goes without saying. And I think,
Then why
as
did
far as I
Prince
understand,
Andrew get arrested yesterday or today?
he's already out, and had nothing to do with sex crimes, though. Is that
What
is that
was
what
it
you were
about?
saying? They were looking into the idea that he may have shared some sort of state secret thing, or relatively state secret thing with Epstein over email. Not saying he's exonerated, but he's not arrested anymore. It was said in the video.
Oh,
if
you
heard that?
Was he? Did they drop charges or did they let him out on bail?
That I don't know. All I know is he's not. They might have been. I think I did hear, actually. I think the idea is that they let him go, and they will continue further investigation, which means I don't think they charged him with anything. So.
That sounds like drop charges, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it wasn't drop charge. It might have been like, you're arrested. All right, we don't have anything. All right, get out of here. But we're going to keep investigating, and maybe we do find something. But it had nothing to do with sex crimes. So. But yeah, there's a lot of shit here that, let's be real, are not going to be investigated. There's probably, from my type of questions to Whitney Webb type of questions, that are not going to be asked at all. There's going to be like, hey, did you do a crime? No. All right, get the fuck out of here then. What are you doing here? You didn't commit a crime? Get out. Get out. See you later, pal. See, look, I showed him. I showed you, pal. I showed you. Right? Matt Hunter style. So yeah, who knows where it goes, but like I think the public themselves are not giving up on this topic unless there's boots on the ground in fucking Iran or all-out war or some shit like that. But either way, tell me what you think in the comment section. Do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. All opinions are welcome. And obviously everything I showed you will be linked in that same description box for you to look at on your own. Yada, yada, yada. You get the deal. Most importantly, with all that said, give this video a game day.